Hust. Hello, lads and ladies.
3D modeling day.
Yay, 3D modeling day. Yeah. Hello, lads and ladies. My name is Jeb, and I'm a Barista, and welcome to my new stream video. Whenever you're watching this, and Ryan, how are you doing? And yeah, that was the second attempt, by the way, of me trying to make a curry grilled cheese, but the first one didn't really ended up that well. Because I tried to use Camembert to make like a.
I had my 3D animation final today. How coincidental.
Ooh, nice. Cause I tried to use Camembert in some kind of way and puree it, and it just didn't fit the flavor profile that well, and it couldn't be used that well to mix it with. I mean, it would have tasted better if I could have actually, you know.
Curry is weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. But I also have some ideas for a next try, which honestly sounds fun.
Things outside India.
Honestly, I don't either. I'm just very proud of my my curry skills that I have since you sent me the spice list.
PC, everything here is a curry.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, how do I say this? I don't remember. No, I don't remember a thing
Oh, I am glad it's working great.
But yeah, it was very fun.
Delicious donut.
Delicious donut. Yeah, delicious donut. This is how it looks at the moment. If it loads. Keep loading. I mean, yeah, see, that's how it looks like. The invisible donut. Baked by my own hands. The faint outline around it is just visual effects. But it looked really good. Yeah, there it is. But yeah. I really like how it turned out. It looks more realistic the closer you get to it, honestly. So from the camera angle, it almost looks fake.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at it. It's nice. So, but now we're gonna. Also, I technically already used.
I've never used Blender. We only use Maya. Maya is so ass. I want to try Blender.
Yeah, there is the thing that we're gonna do. We're gonna watch the last Blender tutorial. And once we finished this Blender tutorial, by the way, we are going to transition to VTuber specific tutorials, like rigging and stuff, and then I'm starting to work on my
We're doing UV.
And then we're going to edit this here a little bit, you know. See if I can do something creative with it. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I also wanted to turn on relaxing jazz music or something in my background.
Tag Drapo.
Hello, extra setups. How are you doing? How you
What was
doing?
that wallpaper?
What wallpaper? I know what you're talking about. My Steam. Oh yeah, the reason why I have Steam open when I said I want to turn on background music is something that I have been explaining for a while already. Here, I have the soundtracks here. And one of my favorite is obviously that one. Boy, it's that silent. Nice. Anyways, let's continue.
Welcome to UV Unwrap and Texture our mug. So we did a little bit with our icing, our donut, and our plate. We got most of that for free. Those were very simple objects. This is a little more complex, so we're going to have some fun with it. So first things first, we need to apply a texture to it so that we can see the UV unwrapping and see that it's working well. So I'm going to hit N to bring up my properties, and I'm using the polygon add-on, and I'm going to apply the ceramic texture that we're going to use. So the free one that we're using for this tutorial, you can find
the polygon add-on that doesn't want to work on my Blender version for some reason. I'm not even and Blender, what's wrong with you? Yay, good. Here, filter add-ons. Didn't I? Here's even my VRM add-on for editing Vtuber models. UV lab. But the unwrapping, how did that work again? Ah yeah, it was here. UV editing. Wasn't it? Huh? UV editor. Okay, nice. So what kind of texture do you want to use?
Typing in donut 5. That'll bring up all the ones we're going to use in this tutorial. And
it's a little sad that he's making it really easy for himself here, doesn't it? Like, oh no, I could do UV maps. What was the thing again that I actually need for that? Shader editor, compositor, image editor. Asset browser, texture paint, shading, animation rendering. Also, why did you, when I went to UV editing, why did you change here to object mode and not to that mode that I actually wanted? What is wrong with you? Why is that the case? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, doesn't make sense. I need these values again. How did I get those? Why is this the UV editor? Where's the other thing that I had last time? View, tool settings, image, open, Blender file view. Oh wait, I have to test something out. And yeah, that is my background. Where's Blender? Then I'm going here to File, Open, and then I'm just opening Police Breakfast. And you immediately start that way. I really would have hoped that you resetted this somehow. But you didn't. It's very annoying. Why are you doing this?
It's very nice. Who drew it?
That was Midna. Midna drew that. Midna thought the idea was fun because Midna sometimes refers to herself as an angel. And I refer myself sometimes as a god. So we just basically hang out in this bar and annoy the dude who owns it. Like, leave already. Which is why there's me, there's her, there my plushies, there her plushies. Pretty nice. No, I wanted to look for something. If you're making this unnecessarily hard for me because of whatever, going to programs, going to where is his mod? Where's the thing that he likes so much? Polygon. Where did I put it? I'm so glad that you currently can't see my files. For totally unrelated reasons, I swear. Let's just download it here. The Polygon add-on. Polygon. Download Polygon add-on. There it is. Good. Wait, did nothing happen? Motion tracking tools. What do you mean motion tracking tools? That's not even my... I want to install the add-on again, but last time you already made it unnecessarily hard for me to add the add-on. Duh. Huh? Why do you have an animation material? No, get rid of that. Get rid of that. So I can't interact with you somehow? That's what I don't get. Every time I'm opening this program, something changed. And I didn't even change anything. Only one thing to do. Don't save. Let's go to the Blender thing itself. Programs.
That's 3D animation for you.
Yeah, but please wait to attempt. Yeah.
The program doesn't want you to finish.
So click repair to install. Let's just continue watching this.
And the one we're using is this one, this rustic gold ceramic texture. So I've already downloaded it, so you'll see download. It'll look like download, like that. And then with the mug selected, you want to hit apply. If the mug isn't selected like that, you'll see import, which would just like load it in as a like fake user material. That you can reference. But anyways, so select the mug and then say apply. And now we can close that and let's take a look. Now you might be surprised at how well that came in. Like the handle's no good, but the rest of it is semi-okay, right? There's some stretching on the rim.
To be fair, I actually think the handle looks very stylized. Like it's like this is how I could see someone purposefully make the handle.
And the base, but like why did that come in okay? So if you go to the UV editor here, you can see we got some islands. And this matches exactly what you would expect if you created a cylinder. So when we modeled this mug, you remember we started with a cylinder, and that's a primitive object, and Blender automatically UV unwraps the primitive objects for us. So everything that is still a cylinder form is okay, but everything else that we created from scratch, like this handle here, it has no idea what to do with it. So it's all stretched and all screwed up. So basically we have to start from scratch and do this again. But that's okay. That's the point of this tutorial, to learn how to do UV unwrapping. So as I explained with the icing, the best way to think about UV unwrapping is to imagine that this object was made of paper, and we have to lay it flat onto a 2D surface, which is what this is over here. This is the 3D object. This is the flat surface it's being laid on. So it's like we are turning this into paper and we have to lay it flat. Where would you put the cuts on this object in order to make it flat there?
Wait a second. Repairing Blender. Good. Because I hope when I'm doing this, I can add the polygon thing again, and it's installing itself again. But now it's not even installing itself, which is really annoying. So we're just gonna watch through it a little bit.
Think of if you're looking at doing this is like, I know for sure this handle has to be separated from the rest of it in order to start to lay it flat. By the way, before we start, it would probably help with your mug selected. In the modifiers, you've got this little box there that says on cage. So if it's turned off, it'll show you like the unsubdivided result around it, but then like parts of it get hidden by the mesh. So I usually turn it on just so that I can see it, and like all the mesh is visible. It just makes UV unwrapping it a little bit easier. Okay, so the handle needs to be separated. So right here is an incision point, right? So I'm going to select these vertices here by holding down Shift and just Shift selecting. Then I'm going to hit Control E and then select Mark Seam. Now, Blender won't have updated yet, so this hasn't changed over here. So if in order to see that, we would first have to select the whole mesh, then go U and then select Unwrap. Or the method that I prefer to do, and I would suggest you do this too, in your 3D view over here, there's a little options drop down at the top there. If you click that and then select Live Unwrap, now whenever you do a seam, so let's just do another seam here, mark seam on the same spot, it will automatically do that UV unwrap for you. So that's really helpful. Now, It looks worse. You have to go backwards before you can go forwards, but that's
Yeah.
okay. So we've only got one incision, so let's do
Mm-hmm.
another one, the other half of the handle. So down here, I'm going to select these points, like so, and then hit Control E, and then mark seam. Okay, so now it has changed. So we've got the handle here. Now, if you want to select just the handle, by the way, in the 3D viewport, if you just mouse over that part of the motion, the mesh, and then hit L, then in this little last use box here, if you select seam, it'll now just select the parts of the mesh that match that seam. By the way, I should also be in edge select mode. That would definitely be helpful because we're placing seams on edges. But yeah, if I do that now, that selection, you can clearly see that this is the part of the mesh, which is this handle over here. So it's been separated, okay? So we've got like two...
So let me take a look. Blender should be finished. Yeah, Blender is finished. Can I finally start the thing myself and do the thing myself? Can I? Please, please. Please. Drinking, drinking. Drinking. Good.
Parts of the mesh. We've got all of them, this part of the mug, which is this mess over here, and then we've got this handle here, which is this part over here. So this is like somewhat unwrapped, but again, if this was made of paper, to lay it flat, we would have to do another incision. So when I'm placing a incision like this, like I have to place an incision somewhere here, right? Like here, 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 or here. And because a seam generally makes a seam, like a visible line in a texture that will often not be like lined up.
The best way to do that would be here, wouldn't it?
That can look ugly, right? It's like, it's not a good look for a model. So often when you're placing a seam, you put it in a place that is hidden. So, I mean, it would be a really good spot if we had like a line right down the middle of the mug there, but next best thing, I'll place it just to the side there. So holding down Alt, select that edge. Now I'm gonna hit Control E and then say seam. And now, look at that. This now has been pretty well UV unwrapped, okay? That's
so now your handle looks better than the entire rest of your mug. I mean... Ah, come on, Blender.
there. That's pretty good. So now we just have to do the same for the rest of the mug here. And this is pretty easy to do. So, I mean, you can tell, like, one place we would have to put a cut would be, like, the base of it. Like, right here inside of our mug. So I'm going to hold down Alt just on this face at the bottom there. And I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to say seam.
Mark seam.
Just to separate that single circle there out by itself. Now, I need to put one cut that goes right down like here, like this part of a mesh. Like I need to do a cut right there. But again, that can create like a visible like line. So I want to try to hide it by putting it on like close to this handle here. Because also there are other seams here, and it will just kind of help to just have it on one part of the mesh. Because like you could like move it and hide it by the camera and stuff like that. So it just helps to put it all in one place. So holding down Alt here, so Alt, click on that. So it goes all the way down to there. And then it kind of stops here on the handle there. So I'm going to select this line, just holding down Shift. And then I also want to do it right there. So holding down Alt on that. And now I'm going to hit Control E and then say Mark Seam. Okay, so now that's looking a lot more released, right? There's less tension in there. But there is still this like pinching effect happening.
Yeah, that's
So
the
just
bottom
like in
half.
the middle there, when we selected that and separated it, I want to select this part of the mesh, which is underneath the mug, and I want to unwrap that. Or sorry, place a seam there. By the way, if you want to like, because we can't really get to that very easily, if you want to just see an object by itself, you can hit /. So in object mode with the mug selected, /. And now everything has vanished. Now, Blender doesn't do a very good
That's
job
helpful.
of showing you that you're just looking at an isolated view, except for at the top there where it says local. So there's many times when I'm using Blender and I think I'm like...
Mina.
Almost finished.
Where's the rest of my scene? And then I remember, oh, that's right, I'm in isolated mode. And you only know because it says local there. So you just have to remember, if like you ever get to that point of like, where is everything? What? Just / and it'll bring it back. Okay, so / there we go. And by the way, if you don't have a / key, you can go to view and then go local view, toggle local view, like that. All right, so now that I've done that, I can get underneath my mug.
/ okay, that's a 7.
Say Control E, and then I'm going to say mark scene.
Roommate.
Okay, so now when we look at this, you can see we have pretty
Extra Datei. Extra Datei.
Cool.
He answered, I think.
well successfully UV unwrap this. Okay.
He answered in his most villager voice he can muster.
Because these points are
Ja,
now.
so Amy in Big Bang Theory, als sie voll auf Sack stand und nur gesagt hat.
Dann bin ich ein bisschen enttäuscht von dir.
Ja, mir ist gar nicht aufgefallen, dass diese Villager.
They've been flattened out. There's some stretching.
Okay, ich bin
There's always
Villager
going to
mit
be some stretching,
Erkältung.
but as long as it's not like obvious, it's generally
Villager with a
okay.
cold.
But now what I want to do is I want to load in the actual text that's being viewed here, so I can see where this like line.
Also wenn Villager lachen, sind die Franzosen.
So from the drop down here, that base color, this little switch
Villagers
button here,
love like
looks like it
French
was actually
people.
scanned
Yeah.
for a real mug, we bought, and this actually matches like
Ja,
what
das
we find in
ist
the store.
sicher
So
lustig,
it's loaded in
oder?
there, and now with this island, which I can
Das
select by
war
hitting
ein
L like that, I can now, hitting
Heutzutage muss
R,
man
I
das
can
alles
start to
sagen.
rotate and move it around.
Oh mein Gott, und Mushroom
Okay, so I'm
Island.
gonna place this.
Was
Let's
ist das
go.
für ein Sieb?
I'm just kind of guessing, but that is, yeah, that's the bottom of my mesh. If you don't know, like you can go into like face select mode and just like select a few faces, and you can see them like update over there like that, which is cool.
I barely understood a single thing he said. But I'm gonna have to rewatch the entire thing anyways as soon as we get as Blender restarts. Blender? Do thing. Nice. Now, let's open. Let's open. Good. And press N.
That wallpaper.
Yeah. See, I have also the tendency of having an incredibly cluttered desktop. I mean, over here is still Baba is You and Sky, Children of Light. So I really like the fact that there are shelves here where I can just position that stuff on, and it looks like it's supposed to be there. But yeah, shout out to Midna for making this thing. This is really cool. So
cute a TE.
oh yeah, it is.
Who drew it?
Yeah, Midna.
Hey,
From
Midna's
she's
so slay.
been part of the channel for a while now. She just doesn't join in that often anymore.
My chats are delayed. Sorry, let me refresh.
And what was it? /. It's the hashtag symbol in German. Also, this is very well cut. Edit mode. So, like, there are already seams here and here, apparently.
Okay, because these points are now they've been. I'm going to hit Control E and then say seam. And because a seam generally makes a seam, decision somewhere here, right? Like here, 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 or here, and
oh, good. Oh yeah, good. Mark seam. Was here, right? It was Mark seam, right?
incision somewhere here, right? Like here, 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 or here.
Mm-hmm.
And a visible look ugly. That is mug there, but next best thing, I'll place it just to the side there. So holding down Alt, select that edge. Now I'm going to hit Control E and then say seam.
Okay, it was Mark seam. Yes. Go to edge, mark seam. Because I completely over-engineered this thing. What? What? Huh? Wait. Nah. No. Nah. So your stuff just changes when you press mark seam, do you?
That edge. Now I'm going to hit Control E and then say seam. And now look at that. This now has.
Why don't I have changes like this? I mean, I know that I completely over-engineered the cup, but shouldn't I still have things like this happening here, you know? Or am I overthinking this? Oh, damn. I have here a line completely going from... Ooh. Cool. Terrifying. Weird. Let's go back. Suck, suck. Suck, suck, suck. Suck, suck, suck. Suck, suck. Good. Let's do Alt and click. Click. What? That's not what I wanted. Oh, that's how it works. Okay. Okay, this is surprisingly more difficult than I imagined. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to Edge and gonna press Mark Seam. Okay, this is exactly on Mad Edge. This is where shit goes wonky. As people like to say, apparently. That's kind of really why I love not following these instructions too clearly. Because then I have to find a little bit my own way to solve these things with the things that I already know about this program. Maxim. Okay. Nice. Edge mark seam. Alright. Alright. Ooh, I could make this a really clean cut for the mug, I mean. Oh, okay. So you haven't done the circle yet. Why are they separated here then? Huh? How does that make sense? Make it make sense. Cool. Mark seam. Hmm. Huh? No! What did I do? Hmm. Edge. Mark seam. Then again, let's go to the mall today. And why are you even going that far into it? I thought this mark seam is supposed to, you know, cut you off from your bullshit. But it just doesn't, huh? Food pastry. Totally accurate mug. N. Wait. Save changes before closing. I didn't do a lot of changes, so I don't know how useful that is. View. No. Can't I can't I have you show your thing? Apparently not. Boy, I hate it. Now I have the thing. Now everything technically works. Like, why is this mug looking better than his for some reason? Not really, but you get my point. Like, why do I not have any stretches on that thing? When I'm looking at my mug, when I'm looking at, I mean, you see it here already here. When I'm looking at my mug doesn't have these issues, like at all. Not even my handle has this issue. My handle has just one repeating texture. It's here. And it stretches at the one point where it's supposed to stretch anyways. Is that what they mean with suffering from success? When shit just works out, but you really don't want it to work out? Because otherwise you don't learn from it? Hmm. Microfacet roughness. I have a normal map technically. Do I? Don't I? Hmm. Technically, that is still a place where I have to create a seam. Come on. Need to be inside you. Good. Oh, come on. I know how to solve this. No, this, and then this. Good. Then we go down from this angle. Gonna do this. When we gonna go? It's okay. There's also this part. I have to be here. Oh, nice. edge, mark seam. Perfect. That would have been the perfect cut. Wouldn't it? I think it would have. But again, nothing changes here. Like, did I do something wrong?
Unwrapped. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That section there. That's pretty good. So now we just have to do the same for the rest of the mug here.
So, let's see. What are the things that are different? You have this on. And that is the right thing. Shared location. I don't have these options. Why do I not have these options? N active tool. So this is on, okay. You have this thing on. Which I also have on.
What? Ich bin so froh, dass ich das aufgenommen habe. Ich habe gerade einen Gast angeschossen.
Mhm.
Ich deflecte den Fireball, er schießt einen neuen und der Fireball, den ich deflected habe, deflected den Fireball, der gerade geschossen wurde. Und ich glaube, er hat sogar den Gas gekillt, weil auf einmal war der Gas. Entweder das oder er ist despawned, aber so oder so.
Would be like the base of it, like right
Ich
here.
hab's aufgenommen. Das ist
Inside of our mug. So I'm going to hold down Alt just on this face at the bottom there, and I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to say seam, just to separate that single circle there out by itself. Now I need to put one cut that
I really did
right
that.
down right down like here, like this part of a mesh. Like I need to do a cut right there. But again, that can create like a visible like line.
That's what it did as well.
By putting it on like close to this handle here. Because also there are other seams here, and it will just kind of help to just have it on one part of the mesh. Because like you could like move it and hide it by the camera and stuff like that. So it just helps to put it all in one place. So holding down Alt here, so Alt, click on that. So it goes all the way down to there. And then it kind of stops here on the handle there. So I'm going to select this line, just holding down Shift. And then I also want to do it right there. So holding down Alt on that. And now I'm going to hit Control E and then say Mark Seam. Okay, so now that's looking a lot more released, right? There's less tension in there. But there is still this like pinching effect happening at the bottom there. So just like in the middle there, when we selected that and separated it, I want to select this part of the mesh, which is underneath the mug, and I want to unwrap that. Or sorry, place a seam there. By the way, if you want to like, because we can't really get to that very easily, if you want to just see an object by itself, you can hit /. So in object mode,
yeah, I found out what that was.
And now everything
on my keyboard, that's where the hashtag is.
Has vanished. Now, Blender doesn't do a very good job of showing you that you're just looking at an isolated view, except for at the top there where it says local. So there's
Loco.
many times when I'm using Blender and I'm like,
Not
where's the
loco.
rest of
That's
my
the Spanish
scene?
word for
And then I remember, oh, that's
being
right, I'm
crazy.
in isolated mode. And you only know because it says local there. So you just have to remember, if like you ever get to that point of like, where is everything? What? Just / and it'll bring it back. Okay, so / there we go. And by the way, if you don't have a / key, you can go to view and then go local view, toggle local view, like that. All right, so now that I've done that, I can get underneath my mug, edit mode, and I'll select this, say Control E, and then I'm going to say mark scene. Okay, so now when we look at this, you can see we have pretty.
And see, this is basically how mine looked already. I mean, except for the handle, but the handle is also just this part. Just again.
Well successfully UV unwrap this, okay? Because these points are now they've been flattened out. Now there's some stretching. There's always going to be some stretching, but as long as it's not like obvious, it's generally okay. But now what I want to do is I want to load in the actual texture that's being viewed here, so I can see where this like line is being viewed on the mug there. So from the drop down here, I'm going to select that base.
So the roughness that I'm having here is basically just a visual texture picture, which gives the mug some depth. For a similar reason, I have this partly glazed. See, you can see here the imperfections in the ceramic. I purposefully did not load in the ceramic itself because it's basically just white color. And if I don't want to use the color, I can just can you stop being the way you are? I did everything he said, but nothing changes on my end. What did I do wrong?
Color, this little ceramic mug here, which by the way was actually scanned from a real mug that we bought and then scanned around it. So this actually matches like what you'd find in a store. So it's loaded in there, and now with this island, which I can select by hitting L like that, I can now, hitting R, I can start to rotate and move it around like this. Okay, so I'm going to place this, let's go, I'm just kind of guessing, but that is, yeah, that's the bottom of my mesh. If you don't know, like...
So wait, what button did you press to single it out?
By hitting L, like that.
By hitting L. Like, why did I make these seams if you're not marking them at all? Huh? Like, I marked the seams. Huh? Okay, something's off. I don't know what it is, but something's off. Because you can see this is where the handle starts. Yeah, I think moving that around was a little bit of a bad idea.
I can now, hitting R, I can start to rotate and move it around like this. Okay, so
Pressing the R button. Why is this not selected where I wanted to?
So I'm going to place this, let's go, right, I'm just kind of guessing, but that is, yeah, that's the bottom of my mesh. If you don't know, like you can go into like face select mode and just like select a few faces and you can see them like update over there like that, which is cool. But yeah, so that's the bottom of the mug, which is good. And let's get that like, you know, try and get a straight line there, okay? And you can see we can't, right? We've got the line like going up here, and then we've got another line coming down here. And obviously we want these to meet, but how can we do that, right? Because the lines are doing that because this part of the mesh is all the way over here, and then the other part of the mesh is like, yeah, much higher up, right? So we essentially, in order to get this to line up, we need to make this island here look straight. Basically like, almost like what it was before when it was the default cylinder view. Now there are some tools in Blender that let you like quickly align like one line, right? So if I selected this line here, I could right click and then I could say align auto, and you can see it would give me a pretty straight line for that one there. The problem is that it just does that one line. If I wanted to do all of it, I would have to do these like one by one like this. So Blender really needs a tool that would like let this happen like easily across an entire island. And although Blender doesn't have this tool, there is a free extension, and it's a great excuse to talk about extensions in Blender and how to install them. But yeah, there's a free one and it's amazing, and so I'm going to show you how to get it. So go to Edit, then Preferences, then go Get Extensions. And with a fresh install, it'll first ask you, do you want to let Blender read the internet? Because it's not going to do that without your permission. So say allow online access. And by the way, you can change that in the future if you want inside of system, allow online access.
Wait, I want to find that out. Like here, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do?
You want to, so I'm going to show you how to get it. So go to Edit.
Edit,
Preferences,
get extensions. Edit preferences, get extensions. And here they are. Oh my god, are they a lot?
And with a fresh install, it'll first ask you, do you want to let Blender read the internet? Because it's not going to do that without your permission. So say allow online access. And by the way, you can change that in the future if you want inside of system, allow online access. Anyways, now that you're here, in the top right-hand corner of the Get Extensions, there's a little unassuming drop-down. Then click on Visit Extensions Platform. You can also find it by just going to extensions.blender.org. Anyways, so these are all extensions that are They're not made by Blender, so they're not like official, but they
Mm-hmm.
are all free. So they all have to meet the criteria of free. I believe there's some other things in there, like it has to, I don't know, probably like safety checks and things like that. But these just like expand the capabilities of Blender by the community. So the one that we're looking for is actually this one here, Moi3UV, which you could find by just, I think, typing in UV. Weirdly, when I was typing in Moi3, oh no, that's right. Oh, it's Mio. Oh, that's why I wasn't finding it. It's Mio3. Okay, there you go. I thought Blender's search was so bad, but it was just Mio3, not Moi. All right, Mio3 UV. Okay, so this is the extension. And you might think like I have to download something, unzip it, and do that. No, it's actually really simple. So all you do is you grab your browser like this, just like separate it to make it like a half window like this. Then all you're going to do is you're going to, in the bottom corner of this,
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
Get add-on. You're going to click that.
That's how I
and
installed the
you get this,
BRM
like,
one.
Outline box there, and see how your cursor changes to this little like crosshair thing. You just click and drag out from that, and then drop it into Blender, and it'll now say, "Do you want to install it?" You say, "Yes, I do," and then that's it. You can see at the bottom there it says installed Mio3_UV. And now in our UV editor over here in this window, if I hit N to bring up properties, you can see I've got a little option here that says Mio3. And look, we've got a bunch of options that I honestly have not played with, most of them. Most of the ones I'm looking for are right at the top here. So the one that I use all the time is Gridify. Okay, and look what happens as I click this. Dun dun! It does what we're looking for. It converted that from this like stretched like kind of view to making it look actually squarish and like a grid, and that is perfect. And now you can see that line there across the ceramic is lining up across it, so that is absolutely perfect. I have no complaints. It is it's worked perfectly well. I do though just want to apply it to this part of the handle as well, because the same thing would apply to that. I'll make sure I do it in face select mode, so I'll hit L, so I'm just selecting the handle by itself, and then here with it, or you can also just do it on the island itself there like that, and then go to Mio again, and I'm looking for Gridify. Okay, and there we go.
Wow, that's nice.
Now, you can position these however you want. So you can select an island by hitting L, and then you can like find a different portion of it. By the way, if you don't want to see the because you can't really see the texture under it very well, sometimes I just disable the overlay at the top of the screen there. That will just like disable all the overlays, so you can't see anything on the mesh there at all. So you just have to remember that it's doing that. But when I've got that, now I can like move things around, and I can see them visualized on the actual mesh there, which is helpful. So if I wanted it to be like a larger looking texture, I could make it smaller, right? That's a kind of a look. Or I could make it bigger, and I'll probably make it like somewhere in between. About there, I think, actually looks kind of good. Actually, yeah, basically filling the space like that from like left to right, which is nice. And then for the handle, I need to also resize that. So I'm going to select this part of the handle. And by the way, you'll notice as you slide it off the screen there, it doesn't matter where it is because it's just going to be tiled, okay? So that texture is just tiling all the way to the left and to the right and above it. So yeah, so I can position this wherever I want, like so. Now you can see here, this little empty patch here, right? This is one part of the handle cut, right? It's that section. And then this section here would be this right here. So if you actually wanted to line it up to be perfect and also get the texture, it's called like matching the texel density across the islands. But yeah, you could like scale this down to be like roughly the same portion, like the same part of the mesh if you want to. There's still like there's extra stretching and stuff in there. The other thing I sometimes do is like I look at the size of a square like this, and then I go like, what is the size of the square over here? And it's like, all right, that's pretty close, but I can see it needs to be stretched like further this way, right? Because this is more rectangular than this. This is more kind of squarish. So I'm going to select this whole island, and I can hit S and then Y. Like so till they're kind of the same size like that. And then just to make them fit, I would scale that down again, and there you go. And now I'm just going to move that up a little bit, just so that this part here of my texture, I want it to kind of line up there. I don't even know actually if this is physically possible. Maybe somebody who works in pottery will tell me, but like See how it looks like it's kind of like dipped in something? I don't even know if that's like something that is like painted or like branded or something. Like, can it go halfway up the handle as well? I'm assuming it is. Maybe I thought it was like dipped in something, but that could be like, this could be a completely implausible mug, is all I'm saying. But that's how it is in 3D. Like, you have artists that have like never done engineering before, and they design a robot, and they're like, and everyone's like, yeah, that looks cool. And then like all the people in engineering are like, that's never gonna fly, but that's fine. It's part of the fun of it. Okay, now there's a lot of stretching going on right here, and that's because this gridify thing, as good as it is, you can see that this part, right, it's really like shrunk it in there, and it's made it a really thin line. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edge select mode by hitting 2, and I'm going to select that edge. Oh, okay, I can't select that edge very well. I'll just shift select them one by one like that, and then I'm just going to pull it up just to add more detail there, like so. And I think it is also
Oh, that's
like
really cool.
stretched a little bit up because it's kind
I
of
expected
like
that would be
wrapped
possible.
around it, and it's kind of like peeling outwards a little bit. I think it works a little bit better if you also scale that part out a little more. So I'm just scaling out that line, and you can see that has now blended in pretty seamlessly. Like that's about, I mean, it's a little messy there, but it's about as good as it would get on that. That's pretty good. And then I'll just do the same for the bottom part here. So I'll select these edges. Actually, no, I'll do it over here. And you can see you get both parts of it, right? Because that line there exists across 2 islands, right? This island and then this island here. So anyways, I'll select this in the editor here, and then I'm going to pull it down to give me more data, and then I'm going to scale it out a little bit as well. And look at that. That's pretty good.
Oh, that looks
We've got
almost
a pretty
natural.
seamless looking result. I mean, and honestly, that's about as good as it gets. And by the way, I should have said, like, it doesn't actually matter that the UV islands are overlapping here, but it does matter if you were to be painting onto this. And the reason that makes a difference is, like, you can imagine if you were doing a paintbrush and you had painted parts of the mesh here, and like one part was for the handle and this part was for that. If you had islands that were overlapping each other, then you would have like different parts of the painting like appearing twice across it. So there's kind of like 2 styles to UV unwrapping. This is the simplest one, which is just like if you've got an image that you've got off the internet or a texture or whatever that's just being tiled across it, or even not tiled, like it doesn't matter if things are overlapping because, the texture is different enough, your eye's not going to spot it. But if it's painted, yes, they do have to be separate parts. And another thing as well, if you're UV unwrapping for a game asset, it's even more complex because all the islands have to be separated, but there's also like margin, because like in games you develop like multiple versions of a mesh at different resolutions, then there's different texture resolutions, so you have to create like big margins, and it gets all like complicated. It's like a completely separate thing. So if you wanted to texture for games, you should probably look at like game texturing type tutorials if you really wanted to go into that. But anyways, the rest of it is fine. Like that part of it, all this like stretching in here, if you wanted to fix that, you could. It doesn't matter because we're going to put some like coffee foam along the top there. The base of it doesn't matter because we're not gonna see it. So yeah, but that's also the thing to consider is like, when people are like on Twitter and they're like, look at this model, look how terrible it is. It's like, yeah, it might be for a purpose like this. It's designed to be viewed from above, and that's all it needs to do. Like if you've like pulled it apart and it's like, how terrible does it look? It's like, yeah, the camera was never going to go in there or under there, so that's why it doesn't matter. Anyways, all right, so the mug is pretty good. The only thing I'll do is I'm going to go to my material over here. Actually, I'll go to my shading tab at the top there so that I can access the nodes here. And I'll just make a few tweaks to it, just like before.
Oh, it's the shading tab. Ew.
I mentioned these maps here, like this is going to give you the physically accurate data from the actual ceramic that we scanned, right? And it's like color calibrated and everything like that. But sometimes you want artistic control, and I want this to look shinier. This is a little dull for me. So I'm going to disconnect my roughness here, and then I'm just going to play with this slider. Like so. So I've still got the bump, so like most of the detail that I want is still there, but like I don't need to look as dull as it was. So that is pretty good. I also don't need the metallic shader, like that's just superfluous. There's another one here, ORM. Oh, sorry, not ORM. Ambient occlusion, or AO. This is another one which is completely unnecessary. It's just for like crevices of information, but this is like flat ceramic, so there's no crevices.
Good. Add-ons. Oh. Biovision motion capture format. Post, VRM, Rigify. Polygon. Why are you deactivated? Like, no wonder I have no idea where the hell you are if you're deactivated. And here, polygon. Here, donut. Ceramic. Page 2. This one. Apply. Okay. And here that looks shitty again. That is okay. That way I actually have a reason to do stuff here. Huh. Again, why are you ignoring the scenes that I created?
We have to provide it like standardized for all of our materials, so they're all uniform, but a lot of materials just don't need it. So in a case like this, I just don't want the AO, like this map here. So I could just like disconnect that. Or actually, if you want to delete something like this and you want it to retain its connection, rather than just deleting it, because then you have to manually connect it, if instead, if you hit Control X, it will delete it and retain its connection. So that's just a little tip there for you. Okay, great. So now let's go back to my layout mode over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the thing to work the way I want to. But apparently it doesn't want to work the way I want to. Come on. Do we have to really close you? So /n polygon donut second apply. Okay. To edit mode. Edge mark seam. Mark seam. Okay, edge mark seam.
Tension in there, but there is still this like pinching effect happening at the bottom there. So just like in the middle there, when we selected that and separated it, I want to select this part of the mesh, which is underneath the mug, and I want to unwrap that. Or sorry, place the seam there. By the way, if you want to like
edge mark seam. The edge mark seam. Edge Edge, Maxime. Is that really all I have to do? Because it doesn't work when I'm doing this.
Very easily. If you want to just see an object by itself, you can hit /. So in object mode with the mug selected, /. And now everything has vanished. Now, Blender doesn't do a very good job of showing you that you're just looking at an isolated view, except for at the top there where it says local. So there's many times when I'm using Blender and I'm like, where's the rest of using this tutorial? And the one we're using, selected, you want to hit apply. If the mug isn't selected like that, you'll see import, which would just like load it in as a like fake user material that you could reference. But anyways, so select the mug and then say apply. And now we can close that and let's take a look. Now you might be surprised at how well that came in. Like the handle's no good, but the rest of it is semi-okay, right? There's some stretching on the rim and the base, but like, why did that come in okay?
Hey, Anonymous, how are you doing?
You can see we got some islands, and this matches.
I still don't know why it doesn't work when I'm doing this. Like I know I overdid it extremely. Lord, it has been you. I knew it. I still know why that doesn't work when I'm doing this.
Hello.
Hello. Oh wait, we just gonna press this once. Then we're gonna press Alt. Can I go in here a little bit? Let's go and do Alt. I'm so confused. Well, anyways, Edge, Mark Seam. So I don't know why that doesn't change anything though. Edges, Maxime. Good. Now, when I'm pressing this, edges, clear seam. Yeah. Lord, do you have any idea of how I can fix that?
Hello.
Hello, Ossian. How are you doing?
Finally
Solve
home.
edges. Select.
Add D.
No.
Back.
Mesh. Clean up. Merge. Removed 0 vertices. Anyway, how's your day been going, Ossian? Good, bad, nice, terrible.
Good, good.
You know what? Chuck. And L. Wasn't there a very easy fix for this somewhere? What is it? Editing, modeling, editing, mesh, transform. Mirror, snap. Wait, what if I go collapse? Oh. Yeah, I guess that. Select. Lasso select. More or less. Select all by trait. No. Select linked. Shop edges. Side of activate. Add. Merge. Split. Separate. Bisect. Disgusting. So mesh. Wait. Mesh. Smooth edges. Normal set. Why are you not connected? What is wrong with you? I'm not getting it. I don't understand. I don't get it. UV. Unwrap conformal. Unwrap minimum stretch. So let's go back to this view. Gonna press Alt and this again. Gonna press this and this. So UV editing, UV, mark seam. Cool. Again, there's no change on my end for this. I have no idea why there is no change for this. Well, I'm just pressing here. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Here. Mark seam. Wait, what? I don't get it. What happened that you act like this? Alright, let's just go with edit mode and take all of this. Face. I think it's a face issue.
Have to go since I have to wake up early tomorrow, but I hope on staying longer tomorrow.
Okay, see you next time. Hope you had fun. At least for the short duration that you've been here. clear seam. Good. Here, let's go to UV and clear seam. Nothing changes. Zack, zack. Well, it changes anything.
Jetzt habe ich insgesamt schon 10 Enderperlen.
Ja.
Oh mein Gott, ich hab's. Jetzt ich brauche halt nur noch Blazes.
Guck mal. Ich will hier den Dings richtig hinkriegen. Warte, ich muss hier kurz auf Objekt drücken, damit man es besser sehen kann. Guck. Ich will ja den Handle richtig hinkriegen, wie es halt im Video gezeigt hat, aber das geht bei mir im Video nicht so wie im Video.
Und, hast du...
Weil ich zeig dir mal kurz, was passiert, wenn ich wenn ich das mache, was er mir gesagt hat.
Ich meinte die Topografie, ja, okay. Das ist UV-Mapping einfach nur.
Ja, aber er macht mir hier, er verbindet mir das hier nicht. Und egal was ich mache, ich habe hier schon lange gesagt, dass es hier abschneiden soll. Im UV-Mapping. Also das heißt ja Mark Seam oder sowas. Und eigentlich müsste sich das dann ja selber korrigieren hier drüben. Aber das macht er nicht. Ich schnall's nicht. Das funktioniert jetzt schon die ganze Zeit nicht. Im Endeffekt habe ich jetzt seit einer Stunde nur ratlos hier dargestellt.
Weiß ich gerade leider auch nicht. Ich aber selber noch nie wirklich so.
Lad.
Aber normalerweise, wenn du einen Kommentar schreibst, dann werden die normal schon beantwortet. Oder du gehst in so einen Discord.
Ja, ich werde jetzt einfach mal für heute aufhören und dann einfach einen Kommentar schreiben. Weil ich keine Ahnung habe, was zum Teufel da falsch ist.
Ja, aber das hilft normal.
So,
deswegen heißt es ja Blender Community. Du musst es nicht alleine machen.
Yay. Anyways, lads, I'm gonna end it for today. This was incredibly depressing today. I wanted to start next Wednesday with working on my model, and I can't because I have a problem that I can't fix. Enough time being angry. I still hope you had fun. For I had a little bit of fun. I still learned something about how to do certain things. I still know how to do the Mark Seam stuff, etc., etc. If it doesn't work on my end, it's not my fault. I did everything he asked me to, and I tried everything I could. But as someone with pretty much no experience in this godforsaken program, I am out of ideas. So yeah, I hope you had fun, for I did have fun to some degree. And I hope to see you in the next stream video. whenever you're watching this. Toodaloo.